Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are tearing down everything you need to know about the brand new Samsung Galaxy S26 Ultra. Okay, so here's what we're gonna cover. We'll start with the design, the little things that make a big difference. Then we'll get into this wild new privacy feature. After that, it's all about performance and what this thing can do. We'll check out the new AI camera tricks. And finally, we'll talk about the price. Let's get into it. So, Section 1, a refined familiarity. You look at the S26 Ultra and it looks pretty familiar, right? But trust me, Samsung has tweaked some really key things that change how it actually feels to hold. Okay, now this is interesting. You're looking at these specs and you might be thinking, wait, they went from titanium back to aluminum? Isn't that a downgrade? Well, not really. It's actually a super smart move. See, by going with aluminum, they made the phone slimmer and lighter than last year's model. It's a subtle change, but it makes a big difference in the hand, and you still get that premium solid feel. It's really about prioritizing ergonomics over just a buzzword.
And it's not just about the weight. Samsung has clearly been listening. Remember how the S25 Ultra felt a little, kind of sharp and boxy? Well, they've rounded the corners on the S26, and it's way more comfortable to hold now, especially for long stretches. They also cleaned up the back, getting rid of those separate protruding lenses for a single camera bump. Kind of like what you see on the Z Fold phones. It's a much cleaner look.
Okay, moving on to probably the biggest headline feature of this phone, the display. And this isn't just a spec bump. Samsung has done something here that's a genuine world first. We're talking about a feature that's baked right into the hardware of the screen itself. It's pretty wild. So what is this thing? It's called Flex Magic Pixel technology. And let's be clear, this is not one of those stick-on privacy films you can buy on Amazon. No way. This is a totally new type of screen that Samsung apparently spent 5 years developing. Basically, it uses two kinds of pixels: narrow pixels that shoot light straight at your eyes, and wide pixels that spread light out to the sides. It's like having hardware-level control over light itself. And here's how it works in practice. When you have privacy mode turned off, both sets of pixels are firing, so everyone gets a nice wide viewing angle. But when you toggle privacy mode on, it's just a button in your quick settings, it tells those wide pixels to basically turn way down. The result? You see a perfectly clear, bright screen, but anyone trying to peek over your shoulder just sees a dark, unreadable display. It's kind of like magic. So let's compare this to those third-party screen protectors, right? Those are basically just a piece of film. They make your own screen dimmer, they're always on, and sometimes they can even mess with touch sensitivity. This is a whole different ballgame. It's a hardware solution. Your screen stays perfectly bright for you. You can toggle it on and off. You can even set it to turn on automatically for specific apps or areas of the screen. No added bulk, no compromises. It's a huge upgrade. All right, now for the fun part for all you performance nerds out there, let's get under the hood and talk about the silicon. We're looking at the new Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 for Galaxy. Let's see what this thing can actually do. So compared to last year's S25 Ultra, we're seeing some really nice gains. A 19% jump in the CPU, 24% on the GPU. That's gonna make everything feel snappier. But look at that NPU number, a 39% increase. That's the part of the chip that handles all the AI stuff, and a jump that big is a huge deal. It's what powers all the cool new camera features we're gonna talk about in a minute. And the benchmarks tell the same story. That Geekbench multi-core score jumps from about 9,800 to almost 11,000. Now, what does that actually mean? It means this phone is an absolute beast for multitasking. We're talking serious pro-level work, demanding apps. It's just not gonna break a sweat. Okay, speaking of power, this is a big one. Samsung has finally broken through its 45-watt charging speed limit. It feels like we've been asking for this forever, and they've delivered. The S26 Ultra now packs 60-watt wired charging. And what that means for you is less time tethered to a wall. We're talking 75% charge in just 30 minutes. That is a massive difference in your day-to-day life.
But all that speed creates heat, right? So, to keep things from getting toasty, Samsung put in a redesigned, larger vapor chamber. This is absolutely crucial because it means the chip can run at its peak performance for way longer without throttling, without slowing itself down to cool off. For gamers or anyone shooting 8K video, this means your performance stays rock solid.
Okay, so we have all this power, but what is it actually for? Let's talk cameras, because this is where Samsung is using all that AI horsepower to do some really practical, useful things. First up is something called horizontal lock. Now this is a total game changer for video.
Imagine you're running, or walking, or just trying to film something and your hand isn't perfectly steady. This new mode literally locks onto the horizon, so even if you tilt the phone, the footage stays perfectly level. It's like having a gimbal built right into the software, and the results look incredibly professional.
And then there's Photo Assist. This is where you really see that new NPU go to work. Instead of messing with complicated editing sliders, you can just use simple text prompts. You can tell it to remove a person from the background, or reposition an object, or even generate a new part of the image to fill in a gap. It's complex editing, but made incredibly simple through AI. And it's not all just software tricks either. There's a big hardware upgrade here too. The main camera now has a much wider f1.4 aperture. All you really need to know is that a lower number is better. It means the lens can open up wider and let in way more light. And that is the key to getting brighter, sharper photos, especially when you're shooting in low light. All right, so after all that, the big question: how much does all this new tech actually cost? Let's get to the price and the final verdict. Okay, here are the numbers. The official launch prices in both US dollars and Indian rupees. The base model starts at $1299 US, or about 1,40,000 rupees. And it's worth noting that starting price gets you a solid 256 gigs of storage. So that's a pretty good starting point.
So, when you step back and look at the whole package, the smarter design, that genuinely new privacy feature built into the hardware, the massive jump in performance, and the really useful AI camera tools, this feels like more than just an incremental update, doesn't it? It feels like Samsung is making a statement here, which really leaves us with one big question to think about. With privacy at its core and all this pro-level power, has Samsung redefined what an Ultra phone should even be?